morning everybody. Hope you've all had a good Christmas and a good New Year, and now it's time for us to crack on with some art. So hopefully you've all watched the video that I sent you a link to prepare some backgrounds. If you haven't had the time, if you didn't have the materials that you needed, then that's absolutely fine. You can just do it in a blank page in your sketchbook, but working on these backgrounds will just make your drawings a little bit more interesting. What I'd like you to do, I'd like you to find something fairly complicated to draw. Now I've chosen my SLR camera, and rather than drawing it from the back, I thought it looked more interesting from the top. So I've produced an observational drawing. Only really interested in shape and line, not interested in shade, not interested very much in texture. So I've just drawn out a fairly accurate drawing of the camera. What you need to do then is you need to prepare another drawing where you take particular elements that you like and you metamorphosize them into something else. Now I quite like this shape here. I quite like this nice curve here. I like the circle. I like the way this line curves around and comes down here. This is an interesting shape. This is an interesting shape. So there's lots of things on there that I find quite interesting. I'm going to start off with this element here, and I'm going to draw it. Doesn't have to be too accurate. You are just using the sort of the idea behind the shape, if you like. Okay, and it has what looks like a little sort of rectangle, square, but I'm going to make mine into a rectangle. I'm making this into a door, and within that door there is a circle and another rectangle, so that's going to be a detail within the door. Okay, I'm drawing nice and hard, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. This shape here, I'm going to make that a lot taller. Bring it down here. That's quite nice, that curve there. So let's keep that. We've got the button. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger because I do quite like it as a feature. I'm going to take this nice curve here and bring it down to the bottom. I quite like that shape. This looks like a little avocado, so I quite like that. I've got a circle here, so I'm going to use that circle again. I'm going to make it the same size as that one there, and then I'm going to put my avocado around that. It's at a funny angle. Okay, and what are we going to do here? These look like steps, so let's have a few sort of lines coming down like so. Okay, what's going on here? So we'll have this line coming down, make a little bit more of that shape there. Right, so I am quite happy with that, apart from the fact I'm just going to continue that line there. This is some sort of building of some description. I might even put, yeah, another circle there. Now what you need to do now, once you have done your planning, you need to draw it up onto the background that you've prepared. This is obviously a real funky shape. Will my drawing go on there? Possibly not. This one would obviously be a little bit more appropriate, but it's square, so I perhaps have to draw it a little bit smaller. So once you have done your plan, you then need to transfer your drawing onto your background. And I'm going to stop the video just while I do that. Right, okay everybody, I have transferred my drawing onto here. I don't know whether you can tell, it's quite hard to see. I had to leave a few bits and bobs out because this is so much smaller than my original drawing. What I'm going to do now is work into it. Now you can work into this drawing with any media that you have at home. Obviously you've all got different stuff. I'm going to use a water-soluble felt tip and my watercolours, but like I say, you really can use whatever you like. So first of all, I'm going to draw over all my lines, all over my pencil lines with my water-soluble felt tip. Okay. It's quite a textured surface. This is the one that had glitter on it, so I don't quite know what will happen when I add the paint. Also, I did actually paint it with gouache, which, as I said before, is actually water soluble, so when I do wet it, it will probably make a funny little mess. Now, I haven't drawn my little thing here, so I'll do that. Now, there's quite a bit of a resist going on over this bit here. This was where I added a little bit of greaseproof and then tried to paint over the top. Felt tip doesn't like that at all, so I really don't know what's going to happen. Now I am going to add a little bit of water. My brush isn't too saturated, and I'm going to be quite careful as to where I put it. Now I can see straight away it is re-wetting the gouache, the white gouache, and making the gouache run, but that in itself might actually be quite interesting. So what I want to happen, I want the ink to run a little bit to make the marks more interesting. What I could do as well, because it was gouache and it is water soluble, if I wanted to, then what I could actually do is deliberately reconstitute that gouache and actually lift it out. Might have to do it a couple of times to get it all off, but then I will be able to see a slight difference between the area where the water has been applied, because obviously it will become more opaque. It won't have that semi-transparent layer on it anymore, like so. So that's going to help make the building stand out from the background. I'm going to carry on for now, adding my water to my water-soluble pen and moving it around. I could, at any point, I could introduce a little bit of colour as well. So where might I? Might put it here. Again, it's resisting a little bit because it's on the area that was the greaseproof paper. I'm being careful not to go into the ink too much, because as we know it is water soluble, and I just want a little bit of colour there. You could as well, if that's a little bit too illustrational and tight for you, you could go in with a little bit of flicking and splatting. We all know how Jo likes a little bit of flicking and splatting. Right, I'm going to remove this from the background here as well. Like so. So that is what I want you to do. Carry on working into it. You could add a little bit of sort of pencil shade into it if you wanted. You can work in any medium that you like. Once this is dry here, I've lost the definition of that shape. Once it's dry, you could then go back over it and re-wet it again. But just have a little play with all the different medium that you've got and see what you end up with. And then you can stick it into your sketchbook. I would suggest that you maybe did 3 of these. They shouldn't take too long. It's quite a rapid way of working, but three pieces based on maybe different areas, that would be great. Don't forget to show me what you've done. Bye bye.